Hi class, welcome to Project 9. In this project we'll be taking a letter form and cropping off a segment of it. Um, and in this instance I want to do it as an outline. There are a couple of ways of doing that, but the simplest is to use it's called a type mask tool, which is one of the type tools in Photoshop. It's also in GIMP and all versions of Photoshop. So let's get started. What I want to do is create a new file again. File new, and we're going to make it 8 by 8 inches, 8 by 8 inches at 72 dots per inch. Click OK to that. Alrighty, and over here on the type tool there's a flyout menu which has several tools. I'm choosing the one that has the outline on it. It's called a horizontal type mask tool. And I've got Times New Roman set up as the type font that I'm using, and I've set it to 600 points, which is very large. So it should fill up most of the screen here, most of the canvas. And I'll type a capital letter S and set it down with the Move tool here. Notice now what I've got is a selection or an outline of just the outer edge of the letter form. What I want to do next is stroke this, so we go Edit, Stroke, and I'm going to make it 7 pixels wide, centered on the line. I'll say OK. Great, and deselect. So what we've got is a letter form outlined in black, and next I want to take the crop tool and crop it into a perfect square and find a segment of this. So to make a perfect square happen, I have to hold down the Shift key and click and drag diagonally, and let's see, somewhere around in there. I can nudge this around with the arrow key. What I want to do is have a section of the letter touch all 4 edges of the square here. So on the left it's just touching, on the bottom it's touching, right side, top side. That way your design will be contiguous and interconnect as we scale this up and create module out of it. Next we want to select all, copy it, Control C, and paste it, Control V, V, V. Let's check our layers to make sure we have enough layers, and we do. Okay, there's 4 layers including the background. So at this point we're going to take canvas size and scale that up 200%. So I'll change inches to percent. And change that to 200%, width 200%, height, and anchor it in the upper left and say OK to that. I anchored it because the background image is one of the elements, and if I didn't anchor it, it would be floating in the center of the frame. I'm going to make sure auto select is clicked on. That way when I directly select one of these letter form elements, it'll go to that layer and select it without any problems. This straight repeat or translation would make an interesting design in itself. You might want to try that, flatten your file and save it. But for this one I'm going to do a mirror imaging, so I'm going to click on the upper right, lower right, and what I want to do is flip it vertically, Edit, Transform, Flip vertically, that's off the frame. Upper left actually is the background layer. That's not going to flip very well unless I unlock the layer. There's a little lock here, so if you ever try to move or do anything to a background layer and it won't work, it's because it's locked down. So double click on it, rename it layer 0, and now I can flip that if I'd like. It's going to act a little strange because it's not only the letter S, but it's the entire white canvas around it as well, but we'll give it a shot here. So Edit, Transform, Flip horizontal, And sure enough, it's a little bit off the page. Let me get rid of the layers here. Well, actually, because the layer 0 is selected, here it is. Okay. I'm going to move it in here. Okay. And the last one has to be flipped and rotated. I mean, flipped both directions. It's horizontally and vertically. So flip horizontal and transform, flip vertical. Close the layers. Okay, I like this design. In fact, I like it enough that I'd save it as is. And then before you save it, always flatten the image. It's layer, flatten image. But now to scale this up, I want to do the same operation we did with the first crop of the letter. So I'm going to select all, copy it, Control C, paste 3 more layers down with Control V, 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 and there they are. Go image canvas size. And I could do the math because 7.5 doubled is 15 inches instead of switching to percent. It's easy enough. Anchor it in the upper left. Zoom out with a Control 0 is a shortcut in Photoshop. Or use your navigator or use your zoom tool. There's 10 ways to do every job in Photoshop or any of these programs, so don't ever get too worried about doing it exactly as I do it. Pretty cool. Notice that, okay, let me get this right side connected up here. That goes there, this goes here. Great. I'm getting the idea that we could hand this design over to an expert blacksmither and create an iron gate for Albertus, similar to what Yale's got going on down there. I like the thick and thin pattern. I like the way the serifs are connecting here. What about repeating this operation one more time? Layer, flatten image. Control A, Control C, Control V, V, V. Image canvas size. Anchor it. Double this to 30. OK to that. Zoom out. And move the elements in place again. Gives you a better idea for the ironwork gate I had in mind. Or wallpaper patterning or any other interesting graphic designs that we couldn't have foreseen. And all from cropping a little segment out of the letter S that you use every single day in your Word documents, Times New Roman S. So the process of design is all about choosing your elements carefully, submitting it to a process that you know has possibilities, like mirror imaging and working on the grid, and working in a clean way. In other words, I made sure that the edges of the line touched all 4 sides of the box. And that's it. For other variations on this, we could, let's flatten this down first. I could do a Control I and invert it and see what it looks like. That's not bad. I could get over into changing this to color, image, mode, RGB color. It is already in color. So then I could start doing some color fills on this. If I've been careful and got my elements lined up correctly with no holes, then I should be able to fill with the paint bucket pretty well. Pretty cool. I have a hole vertically, so it's filling all the elements vertically at once. That's kind of neat. So play coloring book with this and have fun. See you in the next project.